Okay, I want to make a video about the dreams and visions that I had. Um, 4 years ago, a little over now, I went through a Kundalini awakening. And during this Kundalini awakening, um, I had 6 months of dreams and visions and a lot of other paranormal activity that I'm going to talk about here. Um, how it all came about was that my grandmother had passed away, and because of what I had previously been through in my super soldier video, um, my mind was completely destroyed. Um, I don't know what I served in. I served in something, could have been the secret space program, could have been ISA, Delta Force, Special Forces. God only knows what it was. But I served in something, and I never did get credit for it. But anyway, my mind was completely wrecked from that. And so I lived with my grandmother until she passed away. After she passed away, some of her friends started coming over and inviting me to dinner and a movie. It was a Christian movie night. And we started watching Christian movies, and they started getting me to read the Bible. So I was reading the Bible one night, shortly about a year after this had happened, and I finished reading and put the Bible up in my headboard. I have a cubby hole in my headboard, and it was big enough to put a Bible in, an open Bible in, and I laid it in the cubby hole, and went to sleep. That night while I was sleeping, something came to me from the spiritual or the astral plane and was touching me all over. And I was trying to wake up during this process, but I couldn't. I was being held down in my sleep. Eventually, so I hollered for God 3 times. I didn't holler really. I just said God, God, God 3 times while I was asleep. And each time, the dream world that I was in shook, like something hit it. Then I said, I accept Jesus Christ as my personal Lord and Savior. And love entered my heart for a brief moment and then dissipated. For 6 months after, then eventually I woke up. For 6 months after that, I started getting dreams and visions. And I got the farts and diarrhea and a lot of things that I describe in my Kundalini Awakening video. But that was what was going on with that. And I want to talk about the dreams and visions and the other occurrences that was going on during this time. And the dreams weren't so bad. I only got one of those every once in a while. They weren't really all that bad. But the visions were terrible. I would see things in my mind for like 18 hours a day or more, like just all day long, and I couldn't focus on anything. All I could do was lay in my bed and watch the TV in my head and interact with it because they were interactable. I could modify what was happening based on my own personal thoughts on how the vision should function. A lot of what I saw was pretty irrelevant stuff. Some of what I saw was like moral scenarios, like what I would do in a particular scenario. Like one was this woman that I knew that I had a grudge against at the time, and she was on a deserted island, and I was responsible for feeding her and watering her, kind of like a pet. And the first time the vision played, I made the decision to let her die. And then I got to thinking that wasn't right. So I replayed the vision over in my head, and she survived this time, but she lost a little bit of weight in the process. I'll tell you that much. Um, that was one of the things I remember seeing. And this is 4 years ago, so I don't remember everything that I saw. And this went on for 6 months, so there's no telling everything that I saw. These are just some of the things that I remember, like some of the big things. So a lot of the visions was about playing moral scenarios out in my head, making decisions on what the right thing to do was. Other visions had to do with like psychic abilities. I don't remember everything that I saw. There was psychic abilities that I saw that I didn't even know the names of. Um, One that I saw was like shimmering out, like going invisible, like being visible and then going invisible. That was one of the things that I saw. And I found out that that was called phasing. And I saw that. And I saw some other ones too that I don't remember all of them. But I saw that. And another thing that I was seeing was like at the time I had met a girl and was interested in her, and now I'm kind of ugly and fat and ugly now. I was kind of cute as a teenager, but I got older, so shit happens. Um, but she was interested in me, and I was interested in her, and she disappeared on me. But I was seeing her in these visions, some of them, and one of the things that we would do, me and her, was doing something that I would call watching reality TV. This would be where I would remote view around town, different locations around town, looking for a couple arguing. And whenever I found one, I would astral project to the location, because with remote viewing, you can't hear what's going on. You can just see what's going on, but you can't hear what's going on. In order to do that, you have to move. You have to take your astral body and project it onto the astral plane. And your astral body is connected back to your real body through like a rope that's like tethered to your body. And you can hear and see both what's going on. But with remote viewing, you can only just see what's going on. So I would remote view different locations and astral project into the environment and listen to the conversation. And then I was projecting that into what I was seeing and hearing into her head with telepathy. Another thing that I was seeing was like teleportation. We had a game where we was playing tag through teleportation. She would tell it, like if I was it, she would teleport around and I would teleport around with her, trying to catch her and tag her. And every time that I would get in front of her, she'd always raise up her shirt and show me her boobs, and then that would and then it would shock me, and I wouldn't tag her. So that was one of the ways that she was avoiding getting tagged. It was just a vision. I don't know why I was seeing that. That was kind of weird, but I don't even know why I saw any of this, to be honest with you. But that was another thing that I saw. Other things that I saw was a company called Hine and Associates. I saw that in a vision. I was in a room. The story on that is I was in a room with like 6 or 8 women and one man. He was a brown-haired man, dark brown, real slender, about 5'10". The other women were, I don't know. There was 6 or 8 of them, and I guess they had made me mad. I guess, and I walked out of the building. We was in a building. It looked like just a room to me, but when I walked out, I found out it was a building. Um, and I turned around and looked back over my shoulder and saw on the window Hine and Associates written in gold letters with like red trim. And I looked that company up, and it was a real company. And my last name is Hine, by the way, too. Um, but anyway, I saw that in a vision. In a dream, I saw the rapture. I I was at a location. I felt like I was in Texas, and Hine and Associates has an office down in Texas, coincidentally. And I just felt like in the vision or in the dream I was in Texas, and I was with a guy and a girl. The girl I was unfamiliar. I'd never seen her before, or the guy, either one. But there was a little farmhouse in front of us, like a little. It was painted red, and there was like it was divided into two sections, and there was a hallway, like two boxes with a hallway in the middle of them, in the middle of the two boxes, and that's how it was divided. There was a picnic table that the girl was sitting at, and I was facing this guy with my back turned to the sky, and the guy pointed over his shoulder, and I looked over my shoulder, and I don't know what I saw, but it scared the crap out of me. I told him we needed to get inside before all hell broke loose, and he said it already has. About that time, the whole world went dark. It just went black, pitch black. There was a light that was activated by the darkness that turned on within this hallway, and illuminated some of the area a little bit. It wasn't bright, but it illuminated some of the area just a little bit. And immediately I started taking off running for this little hallway that was between the two buildings, and the other guy was in front of me. He took off too, and I stepped through. I just remember distinctly stepping through a big water puddle that had accumulated on my way into this little hallway thing. And when he got into the hallway, a being about waist high to him appeared in front of him, and he disappeared. And then a being appeared in front of me, and made me, and I guess made me disappear. The dream was over at that point. When it appeared in front of me, what it looked like I couldn't tell you because it was blurred out. It was about waist high though to me and him, whatever it was. And after studying mythology a little bit, it almost reminds me of like the four Kumaras in Hinduism, the toddler gods. But anyway, that's what they reminded me of. To me, it reminded me of, and not to say that I'm Hindu. I'm actually a Christian, but I read other mythologies and stuff. I'm a researcher and stuff. I'm not probably a very good one, but I research stuff and looking at different things. But anyway, so I saw that. I woke myself up. I knew that I usually when I dream, I'm not cognizant of the fact that I'm dreaming. But this time I was. And I was aware that I was a dreaming, and I knew this was an important dream. So I forced myself to wake up so I'd think about it. And I woke up and I thought about the dream, and then a few minutes later, I rolled back over and went back to sleep. When I woke up, I started Googling. I use DuckDuckGo, but I call it Googling. Information on the rapture and the sky going dark and everything like that. And I found verses in Matthew 24, 29 to 31 that mentions that, and they correlate with the opening of the sixth seal. In Revelation 6, I forget the exact verse, but they're correlated together. Anyway, I saw that. And another thing that I saw in a dream was that like massive hailstones were crashing through my roof, and I was freaking out trying to figure out what to do. And I saw that. Then in a vision, um, I saw uh, a group of beings that were flying over the top of the parallel with the ground, dragging girls by the hair, saying that these were their girls. They said these are our girls, and they were dragging them on the across the ground, and they were flying parallel to the ground. The girls were on the ground, and they were being dragged by their hair by these beings that were flying parallel to the ground. Um, so I saw that. The girl that I saw in the dream of the rapture, where the sky went dark, I saw her in another vision, and was talking to her, and I asked her why she didn't run, because me and the other guy in that dream had ran, but she didn't. She just stayed there, and she said that she wanted to see Jesus come in the cloud. So I saw that too. Another thing I saw in a vision, which was pretty damaging to me, hurtful. I wouldn't say damaging, but hurtful, was the girl that I was interested in being raped after work by somebody that was close to me. The vision guide said that, and she said, "What are you doing? Get off of me!" In the vision, and I ran to help her, and the vision guide stopped me and said, "There's nothing you can do about this, but you would." That was another thing that I saw. That's pretty much everything that I remember out of the dreams and the visions. But there was some other stuff that was going on along with this stuff that was going on. One of the things that was going on was that like one night I fell asleep, or I was getting ready to go to sleep, and I had my Bible up in my headboard, and I grabbed the Bible, and I was crying about why this, and I said, "Why is this happening to me? I'm a good man." And I grabbed the Bible out of my headboard and threw it across the room, which I don't have a very big room. And then I rolled over and kind of cried myself to sleep. And I had my nightlight on, which is a lamp with a low-powered bulb in it. It illuminates the room pretty good, but it's not overpowering. But anyway, I woke up because I had to pee, and I woke up, and on my floor, laid out in the middle of my floor, was my Bible open to a particular page. So I figured, with everything else that was going on, that this was probably a sign, and I should probably pick up the Bible and read it. It was open to, when I came back from peeing, I grabbed the Bible and started reading from the page, on the page that it was open to, and the page said, basically, I think it was Psalm 27 maybe, where it says that God loves a good man and orders his steps. So that was one thing that happened. My Bible had done that before, or no, that was the first time it had done something like that. Another time, I had my Bible open to a particular page in my headboard, and I'd left it there for a few days, and I went back to read it, and it was open to an entirely different page. So I figured this is probably a sign, and started reading. Inside that part of the Bible was something that told you how to test spirits. And it said in there that to test a spirit, you ask it if Jesus Christ came in the flesh or not. And this was a good thing for me to know at the time, because as all of this was going on, these dreams and these visions and my Bible turning pages on its own and doing weird things. There was something coming to me and talking to me in my sleep. And I live in a 3-bedroom house by myself. I have no witnesses to this. But there was something coming to me and talking to me in my sleep, and I was talking to it too. Some of the things that it said, and I don't know what it was, some of the things that it said was that I was going to have to learn to keep it out. Another thing that it said was that I was going through a Kundalini awakening and that I needed to take iridium. Another thing that it said that I had met my twin flame, and that she was my guiding light. So I had to look up what all this stuff was to figure out what that even meant. And another thing that it said was that sorry, I lost my train of thought. I was thinking about something else and lost my train of thought. But anyway, it said that never mind. I've completely lost my mind where I was going with that. But some other things that it said might have been that it mentioned the Schumann resonance to me, and I'd never heard of the Schumann resonance before. So I had to look up what that was and find out what that was. It, then there was some voices that was coming to me and talking to me that kept saying, "Tell us we're a leader than you." And I told them I didn't even know what I was talking to. I wasn't going to say anything like that. I didn't say that. I just said I don't even know what I'm talking to. And so, like I was like in this like state where I was seeing something in my mind at the time, and then when I said I don't even know what I'm talking to, like that all cleared up, and I was looking in my room at that white storage cabinet, and along the side of it was 4 beings, and they were Caucasoid looking, and they all had they all looked identical. They looked kind of like nutcrackers in a way. They were about 8 or 9 inches wide, and they were just as wide at the shoulders as they were at the hips. They looked kind of like a rectangle, and they were dressed in white. There was 4 of them, and they were dressed in a white like t-shirt and a white pair of jeans, some kind of white that I'd never seen before. It was a weird color white. And I said, yeah. I said, you're a list, and I said, yeah. You said you're a leader than me. And then then I heard, now we can help you. Why they wanted me to say that, I don't know. But as these conversations started, once I read that in the Bible, how to test the spirits, as soon as the conversation would start, I would ask them if Jesus Christ had came in the flesh, and they said that he did. And they told me when I asked them who they were, they said we're children of we're angels of light, and we're children of the light, is what they told me. Other things was going on, like things was popping in my head randomly. One of the things that come in my head was the term McBeaton, which is a family lineage. My granddad was named McBee, and evidently, I guess they say that McBee was came from the Macbeth king of Scotland, and I found a page on McBeaton that talked about 2 kings that relocated to America, and that's basically what my granddad had told me. What he was told about his family whenever he was a kid. He's dead now, so anyway, and he wasn't told much. But anyway, that popped in my head, and another name named Dagobert popped in my head, and my grandpa, my mom's dad was a McBee, and my mom's grandmother, her dad, my mom's dad was descended from a guy that migrated here from Germany, and on my dad's side, his family came here from Germany or Russia. They were listed as Jer-Rus on the census, so which indicated that they were Germans living in Russia at the time, that they moved here, that they moved to America. So anyway, this is all that was going on at the time, and there was some other weird things that was going on too. Like I'd be completely asleep, and I would wake up randomly in the middle of the night, and I'd look at my TV, and a lot of times there would be like a news story. It was like the CBS overnight news or whatever. I had my TV on, and I'd look at the TV, and it would tell me a news story about something that was going on that led me to understand some of the stuff that was going on. I learned about Starlink a long time before most people did, by going down a rabbit hole investigating when Trump had killed that Iranian general at one point. But I don't know how reading about the Iranian general led me down to the Starlink thing, but it did lead me to the DoD's new weapon system. About the Trump was talking about a golden dome, and they'd been talking about building this for a while, sending low Earth orbit satellites into space, armed with micro missiles to shoot down intercontinental ballistic missiles or hypersonic missiles or whatever. What they want to do is use Starlink and other comparable services, like Telesat in Canada and Iris in Europe. They want to build these what they're calling constellations of satellites to provide internet. And each country is going to have their own little constellation of satellites. And U.S. Space Force is going to have satellites within each one of these little constellations, which is what they're calling each individual companies or countries network of satellites. And they want to connect these satellites into a internet of internets, a mega constellation, and operated by a computer Space Force. There's going to be low Earth orbit. There's going to be sensors in space to detect these missiles, and there's going to be low Earth missiles attached to low Earth orbit satellites in space to shoot down these missiles, and they're going to be all connected by these satellite-based internet, and it's all going to be controlled by an AI computer system that is operated by Space Force. Basically, this is literally Skynet going into operation, and personally, I believe it's also the ArcNet of the Men in Black movies, where they're talking about where Boris the animal escapes moon prison and time travels back in time to kill Agent K before he can deploy ArcNet, the sky-based defense system that prevents the alien invasion of the Boglodites, which was Boris the Animal's race of aliens. In my own personal opinion, is that they're preparing us for an alien invasion. Some people in the know think that this is going to be a fake alien invasion. I don't think it's going to be fake. I think this is going to be a real alien invasion. This is going to be Jesus and his 10,000 angels coming back, and they're going to be coming in flying saucers. And we're about to watch Star Wars play out. But anyway, that's my own personal opinion. But anyway, so all of this was going on, and I don't know, man. I have no idea why this happened. But also some things that whenever I'd wake up in the middle of the night, another thing that I was seeing was like it would wake me up like when like Joel Osteen was on TV, and he would hear his message that night on the TV was something that I needed to hear at that particular time. And I like Joel Osteen as a preacher. I'm not sure what I think of him as a man, living in a big mansion and everything. I'm not really down with all of that. But, I mean, I don't understand why you have to have a big, like if there's only like 2 or 3 of you, why do you need a house with 52 rooms? I mean, shit, why? I mean, I don't understand it. I really don't. I don't understand why people buy fancy sports cars and buy big houses and all that. I don't understand it at all. It doesn't make sense to me. But other people can do what they want. If I had money, I wouldn't do that. But other people can do what they want. Anyway, I can't think of anything else that happened during that particular time. I already mentioned what was going on with the Kundalini awakening, with the farts and the diarrhea and everything, and the it feels like a baby kicking in my stomach. It's kind of calmed down a little bit now, but things like that. I explained that in my Kundalini awakening video, so there's no point in rehashing all of that. But this is specifically other things that was going on at the time that Kundalini awakening was taking place. Anyway, that is basically all that there is to say about it.